Gangsters, we're back! Hey.
The World Rock Countdown with George Rock.
It's the World Rock Countdown. Our guest today is the lead guitar player in Soulfly, Cavalera Conspiracy, Dead by Wednesday, and has his own solo record coming out this March called Rotation. Please welcome Marc Rizzo to the World Rock Countdown. How's it going, Marc?
Great to be here. Thanks for the interview.
Hey, no problem. How do you balance such a crazy schedule?
Basically, this is what I love to do. I love to constantly be playing, writing music, practicing guitar. It's tough part is just trying to work out all the scheduling for touring between all the projects I'm in, so that I can, be on the road touring for all my different bands.
And you're currently in the studio for your 8th record with Soulfly, which is incredible. With a constant commitment to each project, how do you manage to write for each band?
I try to, for Soulfly, I try to think a little bit more experimental. I try to use more effects and maybe some more acoustic style stuff, because Soulfly has always been kind of more of a world music experimental type of band. Cavalera Conspiracy, I try to keep it a little bit more, metal, a little bit more thrashy. And then for my own solo project, it's it's a total mix of everything. I like to do a lot of acoustic stuff. I like to mix in a lot of kind of Latin style influences. I like to mix in a lot of it's all instrumental, so it's very influenced by other instrumental guitar players like Joe Satriani and Steve Vai. And then I like to do some blues, jazz stuff on my record. So it's a little bit more a mix of stuff for my own solo project.
As we both know, Max Cavalera is a visionary. Can you describe how it is to write music with him?
It's pretty cool, and I think being that I know his back catalog pretty well. I grew up playing, old Sepultura songs and all my older bands growing up as a kid. Working with him for me is pretty easy, because I know where he's coming from, and I know the direction he wants to go in when we start recording, and I know that style pretty well. So I think we're a good fit for making records together.
Where do you draw your inspiration from?
For me, just all my favorite guitar players. I'm a guitar obsessed type player. I love all the greats that I grew up on. So for me, I like to go back and listen to a lot of my old records, a lot of old Van Halen, maybe Slayer, again, Satriani, Dimebag. I like to listen to all the classic stuff, and I still find inspiration in my old records and hear things that are still new and refreshing for me.
Oh, Van Halen, I can always go back to one of those records. Actually, that's my favorite band, man.
Me too.
So, really, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
We became friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's so rare to find somebody who has the exact same favorite band.
Right.
So, you've come so far. At what point in your life did you realize that playing music was something you wanted to do for a living?
I think from the beginning, since I started playing when I was 8 years old, there really was nothing else I was more interested in than playing guitar and being in a band. So it's always been my dream. It's always been something I wanted to do since I was a young kid, and I'm still doing it now.
This March, you're releasing a brand new record. It's your 4th solo record. It's been close to 8 years since you released the last album, Legionnaire. You chose the name for this one to be Rotation. Where does that name derive from?
Basically, it just sums up, what I've been doing all these years, touring and, rotating around the earth and playing music and just in a constant state of rotation. So I thought it was a pretty good name to describe the record, the vibe of the music on the record, and basically, my travels around the world.
With your crazy schedule, how long did it take to record this, and what can fans expect from Marc Rizzo on this solo release?
This record took probably about a month to record. As far as the recording process, the writing takes a little bit longer. I probably spent a good 2 months writing the record before going into the studio. Takes a little bit longer to make my instrumental records, because I really like to think them out and really work on the riffs and the arrangements and get everything tight and ready for the studio. But this record, I think that this is the one. This is, if you're a fan of my instrumental records, you're going to love this one. And I also think that fans of Soulfly and Cavalera Conspiracy are going to love this record, because I really wrote it with tight songs and catchy melodies, and it's definitely the more heavier record. There's not that much acoustic stuff on this record. It's just right to the point, heavy breakdown songs with a lot of catchy melodies and tons of shredding in between.
And are you going to tour this eventually, or do a full band kind of thing, or just solo again?
Yeah, the plan is to hit the road and go out with my drummer and my bass player and tour this record. It's just, I got to try to figure out the scheduling and see when I'll have some off time to be able to do that, because this record is really, I wrote these songs with the live audience in mind. And a lot of times at my shows, like mosh pits will break out, which is pretty funny because it's an instrumental show, but I got a lot of breakdowns in my songs, a lot of heavy riffs, and the fans get excited. And this new record is definitely in that spirit.
Who are your bandmates? Can you name them? Or?
Yeah, my drummer is Anthony DeVizio. He's been with me for a long time now. He did all the drums on this record, and he did most of the drums on my record before Legionnaire. And then my bass player is Elo Hernandez, who's been with me for a long time also.
A lot of people really dream about working with Zeus. Can you describe how producing a record with him was? I mean, was it a very enlightening experience?
Yeah, Zeus is definitely my favorite producer I've ever worked with. He's top notch. His production's incredible. He's got great ideas. He's an excellent engineer, and I love his mixes. And it's always been a dream of mine to work with him. Growing up as a kid, he's done some of my favorite records, and I was real honored that he was interested in doing my solo record. We worked together on the Soulfly and Slave record, which is definitely my favorite Soulfly record. And, shortly after we did that record together, we talked about doing my new solo record. And so we got into the studio, and I was just super thrilled to have him on board to produce my own instrumental solo record.
And what year did you record this new record?
It actually, what's funny is that I recorded Rotation shortly after the Soulfly and Slave record, which we did back in 2011. And I think 2012, we actually started recording Rotation. And it was finished by, I think that same year I actually finished it, but it just I couldn't find any label that was interested in putting out my records. It's been real difficult with my own solo project to get support from any sort of label at all. Any of the labels that I've worked with over the years, or anybody really in this industry. It's really just been a DIY project that I do for the love of it. And finally, my good friend Dave Ellison and his partner Tom Hazard over at EMP Records, they heard the record and loved it, and they offered me a deal to release it. So it really did take almost about 5 to 6 years to find a label.
Well, David Ellison's doing so much right now. A label, he's got a coffee brand. I don't know how big of a coffee buff you are, but I would assume you drink a fair amount, because
I'm drinking
I can't imagine
coffee.
playing in 3 bands, 4 bands.
Yeah, coffee is my favorite beverage. I'm drinking it right now, and actually I had some of Dave Ellison's coffee about a week ago when I was in California, and it was unbelievable. Great coffee. I mean, I have to get a whole box of that stuff because it was delicious.
I can't wait to try it, and it's kind of funny. Every picture I see of you either have or interview, you have a coffee cup in your hand, or you have a guitar. So I'm assuming that you loved coffee, which is amazing, because a lot of Canadians like that too. So
I do love coffee.
You've got a signature guitar tone. It's very nostalgic, an 80s tone with some modern hints to it. How long did it take you to actually figure out your own Marc Rizzo personalized guitar tone?
I thank you for saying if I have one. That's awesome. I'm real simple when it comes to gear. I'm not into any of this modern, digital stuff. I love my EMG pickups. That's number one for metal. I think EMG is great. I'm now playing 7-string guitars. I have my own signature Washburn model, which I'm crazy about. And I love PV amplifiers. I've been with PV for a long time, and I'm crazy about the PV 6505 plus, and that's it. You know, I basically go right through the head. I mean, so if I have any sort of sound of my own, it's really more just in my hands and my playing, because I don't really use too much gear in between the guitar and the amplifier.
And you selected PV because you're a Van Halen freak, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this new record, it's going to be released in March. You have some obvious other commitments. The new Soulfly record, is it done now or no?
Yeah, we just finished it. We worked with the producer Josh Wilbur. He was incredible to work with, and I think it's a great record. It's a great, eighth record for Soulfly, and I'm really excited for it to come out. And I'm also really excited that my record Rotation's coming out basically the same year as the Soulfly record is coming out, because that'll be out later this year, the new Soulfly, and that the Cavalera Conspiracy record came out a couple months ago. So it's kind of like, it's perfect timing for my record to come out. And I think all three records are a must-have. They're all kind of tuned with each other, actually. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, obvious. I mean, is there any other plans for this year to release any more records, or another Cavalera Conspiracy or Dead by Wednesday record?
No, I think we're pretty busy. I'm talking to the guys in Dead by Wednesday. I think I'll probably do some solos coming up on their next record, hopefully. So I know we're talking about it. Just got to schedule it in. And
what's your opinion on all these hologram tours and appearances happening?
I think it's a little weird. I know they're doing the Dio one right now. I mean, Dio is like one of my favorite singers of all time. So I know they're doing that hologram thing with Dio. It's a little weird. Personally, like for that situation, I personally loved when they were doing one of those Dio tribute shows where you had Ripper Owens singing. I think that was even cooler than doing a hologram thing, because Ripper was such an incredible singer and has such a huge respect for Dio. I would prefer to see somebody pay tribute, to someone like Dio or some of these other guys. Pay tribute and have a real person up there on stage.
Let's get to know Marc Rizzo a bit more. How do you relax when you're on the road? I mean, being away from home is pretty hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually, it's a lot of fun. It's really not work, but it is difficult, as far as, missing your family and trying to keep a relationship going, I mean, that's probably the toughest part, because, it's hard to definitely have a girlfriend and be on the road,
What's your pre-gig warm-up like?
Working out. I hit the weights, or go for a jog, or go to a park and, hit the monkey bars. I love working out and getting a good workout on before I go on stage.
And how much does that actually improve your playing?
Working out?
Yeah.
I mean, I like to stay fit and try to stay young, so as far as energy, and being able to rock it every night, I guess it really is important, because I feel better on stage now than I did when I was 21. So. Well,
that's amazing, man. I mean, you look good, and you're shredding better and better every record. So, when you look at some of your gigs you've played over the past couple of years, in previous interviews, I've seen that you've mentioned that your favorite was the Download Festival. Was it back in 2013, I'm going to say? Has anything overcome that as your best show?
It depends on what show. But as far as like festivals and like big, overwhelming type of crowds, one of my favorites was Rock Al Park in Colombia. I love the country of Colombia. I go there to visit. It's such a fun place to go to. And that was a great show. In 2014, we headlined the Rock Al Park Festival, and it was just an amazing experience.
Now, when you go home, you live in New Jersey, right?
Yep.
So, what are some things that when you go home you have to do, or do you like the Knicks? Do you like hockey? Who's your favorite team?
Honestly, I don't really watch sports other than like MMA and boxing, so I don't really watch team sports, But when I come home, I hang with friends, do just my things I would do that I grew up doing around here. I mean, we got amazing diners and restaurants out here, so a lot of times I just go out and get some good Jersey style food, because you can't find food like that in other parts of the country.
Can you describe Jersey-style food?
We got so many great diners here. I mean, that's the coolest thing is we got, any diner out here is open 24 hours. That's status quo. And just, great diner-style food where you can get anything at any time of the night. And, Taylor ham and egg sandwich, that's a Jersey thing. Our pizza is amazing. We got incredible pizzerias around here. The bread is great. That's one thing after spending, I was in California for a month. My biggest complaint about the food out in California is there's just no good bread anywhere. We got amazing Italian bakeries all over the place here in Jersey, and the bread is just delicious.
Oh, man, bread is, I'm trying to actually lose some weight now. I'm trying to cut the carbs, but it's very hard because bread is a very big staple of my background, too, so.
Yep, that's why I work out every day, so I can enjoy bread.
Oh, I know. I just finished talking to somebody from California, and I'm like, you know what I miss about Los Angeles? The food out there, it's very good. And this probably goes for a lot of the major cities in the United States, but like for me, Los Angeles has so much variety and so much good food because
big city. I mean, their Mexican food is excellent.
Oh, I know. So, Marc, you now have the floor to say, promote, or talk about whatever you want to your audience. You may do so at any time.
Cool, thanks. Basically, pick up my new record, Rotation. It's coming out in March 30th. I'm hoping to hit the road and tour for that project where I'll have all my merch, T-shirts, all 4 of my CDs. And then, everybody can also keep in touch and follow me on Facebook. I have the Marc Rizzo like page where I'm constantly putting up live videos of me playing and answering questions and talking to fans in real time. And then I have my Instagram page, Marc Rizzo Rip and Shred, where I'm constantly posting photos and videos of me playing. And also my YouTube channel, you can subscribe there where, same thing, I'm always, putting up playthrough videos of songs from all the bands I've been in and also doing live feeds. So I'm pretty active online, and I'm always answering questions and talking to the fans. I really enjoy having that interaction. So hit me up.
That's amazing, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on the World Rock Countdown.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
That was my interview with Marc Rizzo of Soulfly and Cavalera Conspiracy. He has a brand new solo record coming out. It's his 4th installment. This one's called Rotation. Check it out this coming March. Discover the future of music at worldrockcountdown.com.